Gloomy ghosts, hidden treasures, coins and relics, famous pirates like Captain Kidd and Blackbeard. We're used to seeing these types of things in the latest Hollywood blockbuster, but they've also got roots right here on the Eastern Shore.
Seeking out the stories behind these encounters requires in-depth knowledge of the geography and history of the area. So, a Delmarva native with decades of experience unearthed these tales would be the ideal person to write about them. Here in Historic Studio D this afternoon is Andy Nunez. He is a local author and amateur historian, and we are so excited to have you and all of your books here.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right, so give us a little background on you and your time in the area.
Oh, well, I'm a native of the Eastern Shore. I was born in Mount Vernon, Somerset County, went to school in Princess Anne, went to UMES for college, and I've always lived here on the Eastern Shore. And I wanted to be a writer at a pretty early age as a teenager. Even though my degree's in art, I like writing stories better for some reason. So I started doing magazine articles, and that's how I got my start.
So what got you interested in the history of here?
Oh, well, I've always been kind of a history buff.
Yeah.
You know, my relatives always gave me books on Civil War battles and things like that, you know, and I read a lot of the World Book Encyclopedia as a kid.
Wow.
Because back in the 60s, there wasn't a whole lot of else, you know, to read. So I've always kind of been interested in history, and that's kind of got me started.
Okay, so your book's here, Ghost 1, Ghost 2, Ghost 3, what is it? Or why ghost stories? How'd you find them?
Well, that's a good question. I originally wrote about treasure hunting. And my publisher says, well, after my first book, Treasures of the Eastern Shore, was done, she says, what do you want to write about next? I said, well, I've been collecting all these stories about different things, ghosts and monsters and stuff here on the Eastern Shore. I said, I don't know, Mysteries of the Eastern Shore. So in the back of Treasures of the Eastern Shore, she put, coming soon, Mysteries of the Eastern Shore. So I'm like, well, I guess I got to write it. So I wrote about all this stuff I'd collected of historical mysteries and ghost stories that have been popular here on the shore, and things like sea monsters and Bigfoot and UFOs, anything somebody saw on the Eastern Shore, encounters with the devil, all kinds of stuff.
And you've made 3 books out of it.
Well, the mysteries, that's just mysteries. After mysteries came out, people started coming to me and telling me their ghost stories. Okay, so that's the first ghost book came out. And then the ghost hunters, you know, when all the ghost hunting TV shows were popular, would come to me and say, can we go to these places and investigate? I'm like, sure, I'll be happy to take you, just take me along with you.
Right.
So Ghost 2 and 3 have a lot of encounters like that with the investigators and things. And I've had so much material that there's going to be a Ghost 4.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
And this was after Treasures.
Yeah,
What was Treasures? Tell me about Treasures.
Treasures about treasure hunting. Was my hobby. It still is. Metal detecting. You've had Mike Hitch on.
Oh,
you know, yeah. Well, same thing. So I was doing that back in the 80s and still do it. It's good exercise. So that's what I wrote my first book about. And then I wrote a sequel last year, Treasures 2, which has more up-to-date stuff and more things. I mean, you know.
Wow.
People are interested in lost treasures.
Yeah, they are.
They're interested in pirates. They're interested in ghosts. There's a big audience that people are thirsty for proof.
So let me ask you this. You mentioned you have a Ghost 4 coming out. Is there any other, I guess, subject that you would like to write about in the future? Or are you sticking with the...
I was thinking about writing one called War on the Eastern Shore, about all the battles and stuff that people... See, my cousin, who lived on Dead Man's Corner down near Chrisfield, he told me, he says, Andy, nothing ever happened here on the Eastern Shore. I told him, I said, Junie, you're wrong. A lot of stuff happened here on the Eastern Shore, and I'm going to prove it, and that's what these books do. But I thought about writing one about all the battles and things that occurred here. People don't realize that there was almost a Civil War battle at New Church, Virginia. There was the Battle of Coochie's Bridge up near Newark. There was the Battle of Cox Field in Talbot County, near in St. Michael's.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Yeah. None of that.
No,
No.
but we'll have to look out for
It's in the books.
Where can we find them?
That's a good question. You can always find them on Amazon. You can get them at the Discover Sea Shipwreck Museum in Fenwick Island. I don't know if you've ever been there, but if you want to see real treasure, that's where to go. There's pictures in a lot of these books from there. You can find them here in Salisbury at Baywater Trading.
Okay.
Okay, I know you're good friends with them. And the Bay Country Shop in Cambridge, and the Vintage Bookstore in Easton.
Well, Andy, that's so fascinating. I can't wait to dig into these books and the ones you have coming up. Thank you for being here.
Oh,
and I hope you come back.
Oh, I'm happy to anytime. Thank you.